There we
There
go.
we go.
Okay.
There we go.
There we go. Now it's showing that we're live. We live, baby.
Work your magic, Will.
All right.
It's all you.
This is gonna be interesting. What's going on, everybody? I'm Will. This week for the Marvelite podcast, and this is a very unique format that we're doing for this one episode. That's why it's a little bit later than usual. But I also have my regular co-host who is there. Say hi to everybody, Luke. Uh-oh, can you hear us?
Luke.
Yes, I can hear you guys. Sorry, I was on like the YouTube page as well, so like the voices were overlaying.
So what I'm doing, what I learned for our live show is that if you just
YouTube.
pop out the chat, you can actually just, if you right click on the drop down menu for the chat, you can actually just pop it out into its own separate window.
Yeah.
That's what I'm doing.
I usually just mute the main video.
Yeah, that's what I just did.
Yeah, as you can plainly see, we also have our guests. We got CJ, we got Tim. Nick is here in the shadows.
Yep.
Shadow Nick.
This
is really interesting because what's funny is I think we titled it Spoiler Cast, so I doubt anybody is going to come here looking for non-spoilers. So I'm kind of going to let the chat go. But I was just thinking, I'm looking at our topics, and we do have like set up to talk about non-spoiler stuff first.
There's kind of no point to that. We can probably just go straight into it when we get there.
Well, if we want to do like the first two topics, which aren't Avengers Infinity War related, then we can get into this spoiler talk.
Oh man, how are the mass of you doing today? This fine Saturday evening.
Anybody want to just say it on 3? 1.
Yeah, just at the same time, everybody just
Good.
shout.
Nobody else said anything. Okay. All right.
That's good. Tim, how are you doing, man?
I'm doing fine today. I actually just saw Infinity War earlier today, so pretty fresh for me.
That's good. Nick, how are you doing? You haven't been on the show in a while.
Yeah, I hate this podcast. That's why.
As does the internet.
Oh.
Well, that one time. We did get a lot of hate. Luke,
I mean,
how are you doing, man?
On average, less than Super Friends, though.
Oof.
Yeah.
I can't even speak for that one. That's not my show.
Okay. Anyways, I'm doing pretty good. I just got off of work. At my second job, aside from the channel. It was really, really slow and boring day. Actually, pretty uneventful.
Wearing a sick hat, though.
I'm actually, yes. I'm actually getting ready to go see Infinity War again tonight with another group of people. So
Whole separate group.
Yeah.
I'm tired. I gotta. Finals week is this coming week.
Man. How was it going? That I know a lot of people are kind of ripping their hair and teeth out.
I mean, education.
You rip your hair out and then you use it to rip your teeth out.
It's tied to the door frame.
It's the good Lord intended. Yeah. I mean, I passed a presentation in a paper. I had another one this week. All of it went pretty well. I'm just focusing on my last 2 papers and my final on Monday. So that's gonna be fun. And I have to worry about moving out of my dorm and like apartment stuff for the future, summer classes, and a bunch of other shenanigans. That's not why we're here. We're actually here to talk about that are Marvel related. Starting with the Deadpool-Trailer.
Real quick, can I acknowledge that Shadow Reaper? If this is legit, I love that you're in this, like you're in the theater waiting for the post-credit scene and watching this. I love it. That's dedication. Quick,
let's do the post-credit scene like right now.
No. Oh, no spoilers.
And you.
Sorry, go back.
But yeah, so in the time between episodes, or what would have been episodes, we got 2 trailers. And the first one we have is Deadpool 2, which we haven't talked about, and then Venom. So I want to start with the Deadpool 2 trailer and kind of get people's thoughts about. Well, I guess we'll do it in the order that it's showing on the screen. I thought it was the best trailer we've gotten so far. CJ, what do you think?
I personally, I really loved it. I think it seemed like it was a direct response to the first trailer, in that what was the complaint about the first trailer? not enough Venom. Like, why are you trying to hide what this movie is? And you're basically burying your biggest selling point, which is that
we're talking about Deadpool.
We're talking about Deadpool. Oh my god, I forgot there was a Deadpool trailer this week.
I wish Venom.
It is a pretty strong selling point for Deadpool. That Venom
again, actually, what's funny is I feel like I have the same points about the Deadpool trailer that I do about the Venom trailer. This was Deadpool.
They were burying their lead. People were there to see Peter. And they finally showed Peter in the trailer.
The most
exactly. That's exactly
what character of Peter.
But I think this is actually this is the first trailer that actually made me excited for Deadpool 2. Like, obviously I was going to go see it, but this is the first one that really kind of, I think all of the jokes hit. I love that, for me, the most interesting part of this is that it's setting up X-Force. So I like that they kind of took the focus, off of Cable, even though I am interested in Josh Brolin's Cable, especially after Thanos. But the giving me Domino and seeing how her powers are going to work in the movie, thought it was really funny. I'm looking forward to that. Seems like it's going to be the funniest part of the movie, next to Peter, of course. Shatterstar looks like ripped from a Rob Liefeld comic, which is incredible and it's amazing. And it's amazing in the wrong way. But I love it. I honestly loved the trailer. It was the closest in tone to the original movie. I feel like both of the first ones just didn't quite strike that tone. This felt like, okay, we're here to watch, a sequel to Deadpool, basically.
Yeah. The other ones, they were having a lot more fun with themselves. The previous trailers, they were doing all those references in them. They were showing stuff not from the movie. Since this one's just showing straight up footage from the movie without any of the additional Toy Story or Bob Ross bits to it. It just felt like a Deadpool movie and probably made it the best trailer of the three, even though I did enjoy the Toy Story bit when it first showed up in the second trailer.
One of the things is that we finally kind of have an idea of what the story is with this trailer. I'm like, I wonder why it took so long for us to get that. I'm glad now. I'm like, this is a lot more clear than the last ones were. The other ones where it's just Cable shows up, Domino's here, the kid with fire powers, Deadpool puns, quips, and murder. So, I mean, I like the third trailer because it is that better balance of humor and actually telling me what the hell is going on.
Exactly. I also think that this definitely. I don't feel like we've seen all the surprises yet. I personally wasn't on the Juggernaut rumor train. That's a huge theory that's going around. The Juggernaut's in the movie.
That and the wood chipper thing.
I don't know. I kind of feel like that might this trailer gave us a few more clues that might actually be legit. We see, Colossus literally stabbing something. I mean, everyone, it looks like he's punching it, but he's got a knife between his fingers. Something that looks like either a bulkhead, which kind of describes Juggernaut, I guess. But
hey, if it is Juggernaut, it'd be cool to see those two fight in live action.
Do you think that Wolverine's going to make a secret cameo?
Did you see that recently with Hugh Jackman?
Had the Twitter video?
Yeah, with Ryan Reynolds in the suit in the background, just hanging out.
That was before their appearance at CinemaCon, from what I'm hearing. They both were on stage to introduce the Fox panel, and that was apparently filmed either right before or right after.
He may be in the movie. They may do a similar thing to what they did in the first, and just have a picture of Hugh Jackman in the movie.
I'm almost halfway expecting him to show up.
I feel like he'd just be Hugh Jackman, though. He wouldn't be Wolverine.
Yeah, he would just be Hugh Jackman cosplaying as Wolverine. I think that would be really freaking hilarious.
I hope he's wearing the giant wig from the end of X-Men 2.
Yes.
But I thought the rumor was that the secret cameo is the Days of Future Past. Oh, no. The Dark Phoenix cast.
Yeah,
which cast?
That's a rumor.
From the Dark Phoenix movie, the new X-Men or whatever.
But hey, no more X-Men. It's just Dark Phoenix now.
True with the X in the circle.
They've lost the X-Men from their title.
Yeah, they just changed it to Dark Phoenix and New Mutants was the same. That didn't change.
Oh wait! It's not called X-Men Dark Phoenix anymore.
No, it's just Dark
Phoenix. It's just Dark Phoenix, apparently.
Stuff at CinemaCon, it looks like they've dropped the X-Men from.
But the X is the X logo.
Maybe they finally lost they fully lost rights to the X-Men, and they're just making a movie called Dark Phoenix now.
Oh my god!
They're gonna ADR everyone with different names.
How many scenes do you think they're gonna add on versus how many scenes they're gonna scrap?
More scrap.
They're gonna scrap whatever they had for a sequel hook, most likely.
The question is, how bad will the green screen be between those reshoots.
I'm almost wondering if they're gonna have to refilm most of the third act then.
Wait, but didn't remember Sophie Turner said that Simon Kinberg is using Dark Phoenix to like launch the next.
That's
like,
not
stage
happening.
Of the X-Men
Well, not
franchise?
anymore.
Yes,
It's
he's
not
using it to
happening.
kill off the Fox X-Men to make room for the Marvel X-Men.
Much like anything but a phoenix, it will die and not come back.
It'll burn to ash and stay that way.
Exactly.
Like a chicken. Like a chicken.
The Light Phoenix. This is the version of Dark Phoenix you get, but it's got ads. It's free, but it's got ads.
Dark Phoenix. It's actually about a black phoenix learning to love itself. Luke, did we get your thoughts about Deadpool 2?
I guess Team Peter all the way. I really hope that the dude does not die.
Yeah.
And
So here's my thing. I'm of two minds. I have a theory here. So the original way that scene was going to go, and this is one thing the reshoots fixed, was originally literally all of the X-Force members died before they hit the ground. Like they parachuting in, they all died. Except for Deadpool.
Which I think in concept is kind of funny, but I can see why that would upset a lot of people.
But it was kind of like a wet blanket reveal. And so they fixed that in reshoots. We see Shatterstar at least gets to the ground. Bedlam gets to the ground. So it seems like they're going to live a little bit longer, this original X-Force team.
Yeah.
My theory is that Peter could still die there. I think he could just forget to open the chute and just hit the ground or something like that. But I personally, I'm proud of this theory. I don't see enough people talking about it. I feel like that's Colossus in disguise, undercover.
Me too.
I feel like he gets beat up by Cable. We see in the trailer he gets grenaded. I feel like he goes undercover because Deadpool doesn't know what he looks like untransformed. We've only ever seen him in metal form, and that's just him with a fake mustache and doing an accent. And I feel like the social media thing is all a front. That's my guess. I'm calling my shot now.
I'm imagining Peter about to transform into Colossus, and he switches back, and it's just a Russian accent over the actor playing him.
So be like Colossus then.
Basically,
Yeah.
I just think that was
Colossus, and the lips don't match.
in the second trailer breakdown. I thought that was the headshot, the Peter headshot. I thought that was Colossus. I was like, what's interesting is this isn't Stefan Kapicic at all. Or the original guy, Andre Tricato. So I was like, I'm not sure if this is just a stand-in they're using, because it wasn't Daniel Cudmore either. But obviously now we know that it's a different character.
Isn't Daniel Cudmore coming back for Dark Phoenix though in a secret mystery role?
He's doing another role, but he's not going to be Colossus most likely. I think they're pretty cemented on the Colossus they got from Deadpool.
Yeah.
I just think I'm seeing the scenario where he gets his ass kicked and then he has to step outside the confines of the X-Men role and go undercover with Deadpool to try and take down Cable. Because Colossus has been in the X-Force, so it's not too big a reach.
That very brief period a few years ago in the orange suit era.
Oh yeah.
Time to be alive.
The other option that people have, since they put Peter W down, a lot of people think he's Pete Wisdom, who was also part of X-Force at one point. But if that's the case, I don't really like the casting because he doesn't look like Pete Wisdom, even if it does end up doing a good British accent later.
We don't know what he's hiding under that button down and those khakis. Be one of those.
I guess that's true. I honestly hope that it is the Colossus reveal and not the Pete Wisdom reveal, or if he's just a normal dude. I just don't want him to be Pete Wisdom of the three options.
I feel like he's just gonna be. I do hope, but oddly enough, Peter 3 seconds in the trailer, speedily the most beloved character.
Oh yeah, everyone loves him, and the Twitter thing they're doing is great too. I love that. Well, my favorite thing was when he posted a picture of Shatterstar, and they kind of teased that Shatterstar might actually be from Mojo World in this Deadpool universe.
Yeah.
But that
would be cool.
He took a photo and he was like Shatterstar. He's a handsome alien from outer space or something like that. He's one member of the team that Susan, his wife, if you've been following the social media posts, Susan isn't gonna meet. And I was like, and the replies to it were just Shatterstar is gay, dude. You got nothing to worry about.
Yeah,
which is I love it. It's my favorite thing that they're doing. It's the best thing.
I am so happy that they did 90s Shatterstar with the giant stupid headgear.
It's like, of course, Deadpool is actually going to give us the most accurate version of the X-Men, so that they can make fun of the most accurate version of the X-Men.
Look at this thing Rob Liefeld created that isn't Deadpool, and laugh at how stupid it is.
I mean, it's peak 90s, and I think that's a good thing that they're like kind of embracing it to a point.
My only complaint is lack of pouches on Cable. But
a character he made recently called the Pouch. It's like a big ass pouch surrounded by pouches.
Is it gritting its teeth?
But yeah, I think that'll do us for Deadpool 2. So let's move on to Venom. We're jumping around all three of the big companies today. Triad. And that Venom trailer, massively better than that teaser. It's infinitely better. I still think that teaser is god awful, but I think the trailer for it actually does a good job at getting me. Like by the end of it, I'm like, okay, I'm excited for this. I never thought I would say that, but I think Sony's finally learning after years and years and years of messing up how to kind of tell you things without spoiling too much of the story.
Here's what I'm going to say. I think that if there weren't complaints from the first trailer, I feel like Sony would have been just dumb enough to not show Venom in the second trailer.
It's a big mystery. Will Venom show up in Venom?
I think if no one would have complained, like the closest thing that we would have gotten were like the Venom tendrils coming out of Eddie Brock and possibly see like his eyes and tongue and teeth in like the shadows or something.
Yeah. So that's kind of what they did in like the first trailer, just like the logo having the eyes and teeth.
So like I want to give Sony credit, but I just can't find it in me to give them full credit, if that makes sense.
You get 70%. That's a C. Take your pass.
But, no. The first trailer was so weird because it was like your selling point for this movie is obviously you've got Tom Hardy as this iconic character, this iconic Marvel character, and you're just not going to show. You're just going to show him as man. He's not even Venom. He's just
and
man.
Goo.
Man and goo.
Man and
not man goo.
But together.
Well, then they not even showing the name. I think that was the biggest thing. Is it's like, are you like ashamed of this? Is this like, God? There was a
Tom Hardy is V for Vendetta.
it almost seemed to me like this is, and what scared me about that first trailer was it was giving me vibes like early to mid 2000s superhero movies, like Fantastic Four Galactus. It was like, you're ashamed that you're trying to use a character that's like,
or 2015 Fantastic Four. They're ashamed of using the name in the movie.
Exactly. You're ashamed of the name. You're ashamed of Dr. Doom.
It bothered me because it was 2 weeks after production wrapped. I'm like, you didn't have to do this. You could
no. And it was like, if I'm remembering correctly, it was in a week with like 2 or 3 other trailers, including I think an Avengers trailer. So I was like, why do you feel like you have to enter this fight? It's just, I mean, and so
Avengers broke 100 million in its first day. People want to see the comic book character in your comic book movie.
Also,
the biggest thing for me is not even using the name at the end. It's like the eyes turn into a V, and that's it. And I was like,
and they show Venom in that weird thing trailers have now, where they could give all the information at the end, that like end slate card.
Also, what the hell is a symbiote?
A symbiote.
Oh God. Okay, I can't give them shit for that because people gave me shit about the Thanos.
No. Like that is like intentionally vague because like different comic book artists writers have pronounced Thanos differently throughout Thanos's publication.
The only excuse I can use based her pronunciation off of because like the other offshoots of the pronunciation don't matter, but this is weird because this is the only one that's consistently been said. Symbiote, but people say symbiote, symbiosis, symbiotic.
Symbiote. That's what people say, I think.
Yeah, symbiote, but like I don't think I've ever heard anyone say symbiote. It's not outside the realm of possibility.
Well, so
when it happens, you're all like, wait, huh?
I think it like just entirely depends on like how you pronounce, the
Symbiosis.
I guess the symbiosis. Yeah, symbiosis, symbiosis.
Did you guys hear me? I just got cut off.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay.
We filled in. We played Mad Libs and filled in the rest of your sentence.
We were still just thinking of ways to say symbiote.
Much like the ending of Infinity War.
I just don't think that symbiote is really up for interpretation so much as the name Thanos is. Because again, it just throughout like Venom's publication history, the symbiote has always been called a symbiote. Thanos, however, has always been called, I've heard people pronounce it Thanatos, which is, I know, super weird, but
that's
the company.
There's been a few comic book writers who have called it that throughout the years. I can't remember who. I've seen videos of it.
I believe you. I also believe they're wrong.
It's really dumb, but I just think that you get where I'm coming from.
Yeah, the Venom trailer looks pretty cool. Yeah,
we got hung up on the name thing.
Yeah, we got hung up on symbiote or symbiote.
Yeah, this trailer looks
she derailed us.
Yeah,
I just hope it's rated R though, because that's one thing that's like kind of getting me nervous. None of these have been Red Band trailers.
I think that it's PG-13. I think that was confirmed.
Oh, fucking lame! God, why?
And I might be wrong, but I think I heard it was PG-13.
I'm hoping it is R, and not like they want it to be R for edgy reasons. But I'm like, I feel like if you're gonna do Venom, pretty.
This is edgy though. He's like the '90s.
Yeah, he is edgy. I mean, like, don't force an R rating. But if you're keeping with the '90s version of the character, yeah, he's a pretty brutal dude. Like, even in Ultimate Spider-Man, which was a T-rated game, he was absorbing people and children left and
children.
Right. Yeah, he ate children. The only reason it passed is because there was no blood when it happened.
I know it honestly looks like in that final shot where they actually get the look at Venom, it looks like he's about to eat that dude's brain. I'm like, are they really keeping that part of him in this? That stupid thing from him from the late '90s?
Oh, yep. Like, I'm hungry. I gotta feed.
My drool is ecto-cooler, and I eat brains because I did it. I don't know.
We're gonna get this Venom's gonna exist in a universe with Morbius and Nightwatch and everything.
That's gonna be a weird superhero team.
Morbius cinematic universe is finally here.
A lot of people have been asking if he's gonna have the spider on his chest, which I don't think he will.
I don't think he will. He has those white lines though.
It kind of resembles.
He's gonna have a big V on his chest.
Okay,
yeah, here's like the ultimate.
Here's another a big white V that wraps to the back.
Here's a big lingering question. I think that not enough people are talking about: is he going to use webs? Is he going to swing?
I don't think so.
I don't think he is. I think it's gonna be all tendrils.
Well,
tentacles are the slime. In more adaptations, they've been just having Venom use the tentacles instead of the web.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the web is still really cool, but I could see it like, him producing like his own webbing through his, weird tendril things.
So I pointed out that the trailer's basically prototype, and I'm like, shit.
Well, prototype's basically Venom, so
actually my friend actually kind of like pointed that out. Like, if you literally took out the aspects of Venom, that it is literally a prototype film.
Yeah, basically. I was gonna say a little bit like The Darkness, but
that too.
Get a little Faith No More in there.
Oh my god,
it will be perfect.
Avengers Infinity War.
Yes,
let's talk about that. I guess
hype for Venom is a little more up. That's where we'll.
Yeah.
It was better than the first trailer, which told us literally nothing.
It told us Tom Hardy the movie. Man,
it told us that there's a movie happening. Tom Hardy's in it. There's black goo and some guys in suits. This movie told us more about what the movie's actually about.
There's black goo.
Alien Venom, alien symbiosis.
Yeah.
All right.
Avengers talk time.
Time to talk Avengers. Do we want to do a non-spoiler talk at all? Or do
no.
we want to spoil
Let's just go straight into it.
Not really worth it.
I would say so.
Yeah.
All right. So, God, this is such a massive film. So much happened.
I know.
I'm glad Loki's dead.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think that'll stick this time.
Huh?
I think that'll stick this time.
That's the real question.
Since I'm not going to be here. Oh, sorry, CJ.
No, go ahead.
I was going to say, since I'm not going to be here forever, I kind of just want to get out like this two really big points, but I'm just going to say this one first. I want to say again, like heavy spoilers here. The people who died outside of Thanos snapping his finger, I feel like they're dead and never coming back.
I feel like Gamora
I feel the same for everyone except for Loki and actually, I honestly that way for Heimdall. I think only Heimdall's gonna stay dead. Like I think Gamora and Loki. Gamora's definitely coming back. I don't think. I think Loki might.
My other thing on Loki is that it really kind of depends on what happens with Chris Hemsworth in Phase 4. Because originally it seemed like it was going to be okay. The big three: Iron Man, Captain America, and Thor. They are gone after Avengers 4. Now it seems like Chris Hemsworth might actually be.
He wants to come back.
He wants to come back because he likes Ragnarok so much.
Like, oh, wait a minute. They did something for me.
And so it's one of those things where if he's coming back, I feel like Loki is probably going to come back as well.
Yeah.
But Gamora has to, because I mean, Guardians of the Galaxy.
I know they have to finish the Guardians trilogy. They can't do it without her. They're not going to kill her in another movie.
That'd be bold. That would force James Gunn to be really creative with what direction he takes the team if she doesn't come back.
Well, I guess Nebula's joining the Guardians for real.
I think, though, too, like James Gunn is also setting up a new Guardians lineup of characters.
Somebody did suggest Soul World, which I think is interesting. I had a lot of people suggesting that the planet that Red Skull was on, the planet the Soul Stone was on, was or Red Skull cameo, my favorite part of the movie, by the way.
That was the thing that I don't think anyone was expecting. Like, hey, Red Skull's back.
I literally said,
I was expecting it. I read the spoilers before.
I mean, people who didn't read the full synopsis of the movie before going in.
Yes, people that did not spoil the movie for themselves.
I found out about it by accident.
I saw what he looked like before I even saw the movie, so I'm like, oh, like.
I dug that so much, but Vormir, people have suggested Vormir might just be Soul World because of how wonky it was with the him getting the stone and then waking up.
So apparently the Space Stone sent Red Skull into the Soul Stone?
Potentially, I mean.
How is he still alive?
That seems like a weird roundabout way to do that.
Look, man, I don't make the rules.
Wait, Luke, what was your other big point? You said one.
Okay, yeah, I know this has nothing to do with like this Thanos snapping his finger or whatever. I think moving forward into Avengers 4, I think that Doctor Strange is the biggest player. I think for a very specific reason. I think that he did something to the Time Stone whenever he handed it over to Thanos. The discussion
I don't know if he necessarily did something to it. I think that when he handed over to Thanos, it was solely because that was the one option he saw of them winning.
Well,
think about it. Think about it. What did he say to Stark when? Okay, here's my biggest thing. He peered into the multiverse, right? So he looked into the future and he saw over 14 million different outcomes. And he said, and there's a very specific reason why he did that. He said, there were 14 million outcomes, that how this scenario could play out. There's only one where we come out on top and Thanos loses. I think that giving him the stone in the manner that he did, he knew. I think that he knew that a lot of those characters were going to die. He knew that Stark, and he knew all those characters were going to die, right? Mm-hmm. I think that Strange himself took it upon himself to choose that one option, that one outcome. But in order to do so, Thanos was temporarily going to succeed.
Yeah.
Well, I think
that's what I thought happened when he handed it over. I don't know if he necessarily did anything to the stone, but I think that this is going to lead to a domino effect that causes him to lose.
Nokia Blokia kind of summed up what I think happened. I don't think it was like he booby trapped it or anything like that. I think this was just Doctor Strange looked into all the possible combinations and said, "This is the one way we can win."
Right.
And it didn't come before he gets all the stones and wipes out half the universe. It's going to come after his own, disintegration into never having existed or something like that. But that's what I think. That's why didn't he hand it over from the start? I don't know, man. Maybe it just had to happen that way.
The thing is, in the fight with Thanos, they were this close because you see the gauntlet literally slip off his hand and he grabs it back.
Star-Lord fucked it up.
Star-Lord fucked everything up.
Dude, why didn't Doctor Strange just make
Star-Lord like a giant idiot in this movie because they made him so much dumber than he's been in the Guardians films in this. He doesn't know what plucky means. Your parents doesn't know Missouri's on Earth.
He got he did get a little handicapped in this movie.
Well, no, I think that's because he was the star pretty much in his other films, right? In Guardians of the Galaxy, he wasn't the star in this. He was more of a side character, and so I feel like, you know, when it came to like specific scenes with Star-Lord, he was acting a little differently because he wasn't in charge. You know, he didn't have the lead. He was just kind of there with other characters.
Yeah, but even then, like, he has never been portrayed. He's been portrayed as being like a big, goofy guy, but he's never been portrayed as this colossal an idiot.
The only rationale I could find behind it is him being to the point of stupidity, like emotional over Gamora's death, kind of like how Tony was. He's like, it's like, yeah, but he didn't do it. It's like, yeah, but he killed my mom, so, you know, throw hands. Yeah. Like,
no, the Thanos thing I get because of Gamora. It's the stuff before that point with him that bothered me.
Oh, like him deepening his voice to try and out macho Thor.
That one I was fine with. It's literally just the things of him just flat out stating like, "No, I'm stupid and don't know what you're saying."
How did you guys feel about Doctor Strange though? I feel like he was probably one of my favorite characters, like in terms of the heroes.
He was nerfed, though. He should have like soloed.
I don't think that he was really like nerfed because he's still not the Sorcerer Supreme.
I mean, I think it's just one of those things where Thanos is just so powerful. I mean,
Thanos is real strong, and he had the Power Stone on him that whole time.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And I think that the other thing is, I think Thanos. I kind of had to clarify it in the video we did on his new powers. There are some people that point back to the Doctor Strange movie, and yes, that little BDSM wooden machine that trapped Caecilius was supposed to be the Crimson Bands of Cyttorak in that movie. Yeah. There's no way what was in this movie was not the Crimson Bands.
Yeah, that was definitely the Crimson Bands of Cyttorak.
The Russo brothers were like, we have to fix this mistake.
No, that was just a gimp thing. These are actual Crimson Bands of
Cyttorak sex toy. That was the sex toy of Cyttorak.
Yeah. So how did you guys feel about the Black Order? I personally feel like
they were okay. They had no personality to them whatsoever, and they all got jobbed out pretty hard.
Hold on. Let's go person to person, like CJ.
Yeah,
for the most part, I didn't mind it so much because I think we knew that they were gonna be like the henchmen. I'll say that I liked that they lasted a while and did put up a good fight. Like Vision is no pushover. Glaive was, you know, despite the fact that he you know, got stabbed in the back Saruman style, I think that he lasted a while. You know, he did his things. I feel like they handled it well. I mean, obviously, I wish they got more run because they're all pretty, you know, good, unique characters in their own right.
Yeah.
But that's always what they were going to be in this movie. We knew, maybe I knew that they were going to die.
They just did not live up to their full potential. That was, I think, Marvel's chance to really make villains shine, especially lackey villains, because they're really so much more. And I think that, like, okay, for one, I think they, for the most part, they nailed the voices. Ebony Maw was just absolutely horrifying.
Yeah.
However, they really kind of changed him. I mean, like, one, in the comics, he didn't have telekinesis.
No, they kind of combined him with Supergiant.
They did in a way, and I noticed that. Like, his voice, oh my god, it was so creepy. But I will say, like, Ebony Maw of all characters was so underused because he's so interesting in the comics. And what makes him so interesting is that he has the ability to manipulate you with his words. Like, so, like, he is like the master silver-tongued devil, and that opportunity was there for them to use, and they just didn't do it.
They had a backdoor there with him being the, you know, hear me and rejoice. You were all about to be saved by Thanos, and when I say saved, I mean he's going to kill half of you. Like, they had that opportunity to be like, you know, if that actually had a calming effect. It just came off as kind of like, oh, he's just a dick.
Creepy.
He buys into what he's saying, but he's being a dick.
Tim, what are your thoughts about the Black Order?
I didn't expect them to be like that big a deal. Like, I thought they would all have like individual fight scenes, which they did, but even then, like, I feel that they were kind of underutilized. I wish that they had made it to Avengers 4 as opposed to all dying here. And I get that one of my big, like, this isn't an issue with the Black Order. One of my big problems is that in order to make Corvus Glaive seem threatening, they just made, like, nerfed Vision entirely because he does fucking nothing the entire movie.
Vision is the main.
He is the biggest nerfed character in this whole thing because he gets stabbed
maybe Black
twice.
Panther.
Yeah, Black Panther does some stuff in the big group fight. Like Vision's just sitting there getting like synapses unconnected.
And I don't know why, but I was halfway expecting that famous speech that Captain America gave to Thanos in the Infinity Gauntlet story arc, and we just didn't get that at all. And so, like,
it's coming in 4.
I'm now hoping that we get that scene, because in Civil War, I so badly wanted to see that famous speech, that other famous speech that Captain America gives. He didn't give that. Instead, it was Agent 13 that gave the speech. I feel like it was a cheap cop-out in Civil War, but it had its reasons. I get it. But I really wanted to see that. But, you know, other than that, the film was really good for me. I am still kind of processing it, and that's a big reason why I'm going to see it again tonight. I need to process it more. So,
side note, Nick, what are your thoughts about the Black Order? Because we didn't get to hear anything.
Like, I thought they visually looked cool and everything, and I really like one of my favorite fight scenes of the whole movie is the first one on the street. That was so awesome, like, because it felt real, like it felt like chaotic, like holy shit, like all this stuff is happening, and I really liked, what's his name? Ebony Maw was my favorite one, and then I like Corvus Glaive too, but it was so weird how like they didn't even name any of them. They're just like there, like they just appeared.
The only one that got a name was
something else.
Yeah, he called the Maw or something.
The
like
Maw.
that.
I'm like,
It was just the Maw.
Full name, damn it.
Yeah,
Also, Cull Obsidian didn't talk. He just sounded like a brutish monster.
he talked a few times. It's hard to tell what he was saying.
Also, too, I will say, yeah, they were definitely underused. Did you guys find that fight between Proxima Midnight and the other Avengers, the female Avengers? Did you kind of feel like that was out of place at all?
What I felt was when that fight happened, I'm like, that's Marvel doing their little girl power moment.
Yeah, it was their girl power moment.
Yeah, I feel like Proxima Midnight just had like a weird rivalry with Scarlet Witch and the Black Widow for no apparent reason.
I feel like that scene.
I'm like, oh wait, this is them having the moment to be like, yeah, girls can kick ass too.
Now
we're gonna have the girls fight the other girls. They're gonna whoop this space bitch's ass. And
I feel like that scene worked for the most part.
Yeah,
but I'm already seeing two sides on the feminist group. One side thinks, yeah, that's female empowerment, and then the other side is saying that's extremely sexist. And so
it's like there were women in the war. They were there for the other.
There were a huge amount of women in the war because the Dora Milaje were in it.
Yeah, that's just the one time they focused specifically on like 3 women of 3 ethnically different backgrounds fighting one evil space bitch.
Well, so you were European.
I will say too that they nerfed the shit out of the Hulk. In terms of like, I feel like that like him not wanting to come out because he got his ass kicked for the first time was really stupid. I also feel like he should have.
I don't know if it was because of that.
Yeah, that was dumb that they're like, he's afraid. I'm like, what? You wouldn't get afraid?
They didn't verify that. I kind of hope they're going somewhere with it in Avengers 4.
Yeah.
To hopefully because if you haven't seen the movie, I don't know why you're still watching the spoiler cast. But if you haven't seen the movie, that shot in the trailer with the Hulk running behind everyone, it's not in the movie.
That whole
yeah, I think they cut out the Hulkbuster too, where he like busted. He Hulked out of the Hulkbuster.
They cut out the. Well, they said that they had a ton of deleted scenes for this movie, so there's a good chance that was just one shot that they wanted that eventually had to get cut for flow.
Yeah, I really hope that this is going to be like the first Avengers film that gets like a director's cut, not just deleted scenes, but added scenes into it.
I love that Thanos backstory.
Exactly.
I really like Thanos in this movie. If we got that like 20 extra minutes to really.
They did that like short thing where he's talking to Doctor Strange. It was like a condensed version or something.
That worked fine for that. The one thing I really wanted with Thanos in the movie, like building up to him getting the Soul Stone, they really had to show more between him and Gamora growing up, because there's really no reason why he cares so much about her more than the other people he stole.
Can we talk about that moment on the planet for a second where everyone in the audience got it, but and she's just like, haha, you don't care for anything. We got you, bitch. And it's like, Gamora, you idiot. The whole movie.
Hey, Luke, who is that?
I care about. You don't care about anything. You're about to get thrown up in that cliff, aren't you?
Yep.
You're not gonna
I thought that there was going to be more to that entire thing than her just falling and landing on the fucking ground.
Yeah, that was like one of the only scenes that kind of took me out of the movie. It's like the editing for that moment seemed a little weird. Like the slow fades, I was like, we could have just done one
It's
thing.
like, oh, there was actually, it's just a fucking floor at the bottom of the cliff. Okay, so just push the person off and hope for the best.
It was supposed to be a big moment
round
for like his emotional arc where it's like, obviously we as an audience are supposed to believe that he doesn't really care about anything. But I mean, it kind of is shown in the film before that he does.
Yeah. It is shown. It just, I wanted there to be more there to elaborate on that, opposed to him just saying it.
Well, I got it, and I believed it due to like Brolin and Saldana's acting. But I do think there could have been just a little bit more would have helped like flesh it out and made it a little more like fulfilled.
What's up with the Red Skull though? Why is he like cloaked and like just sitting there on that rock?
Did anyone else like kind of try to think of who that was before it was the reveal of the Red Skull? Like I think I had like
that could have been Death easily.
Yeah.
It was kind of easy to tell it was Red Skull because he was speaking with a thick German accent.
Well, that didn't really. I was looking more on like the aesthetics, and it was kind of a cop out because at first I was like a hairline of a second I thought that it was Death, and I'm like, no, it has to be someone else. And then I was thinking of like who it could be, but I was
completely German man's voice.
I was completely taken off guard by Red Skull.
Well, I was gonna say my big thing was it didn't sound like Hugo Weaving, so I'm kind of wondering like, was that Hugo?
It wasn't. It's a different credited actor.
It's the guy from Walking Dead, Ross Marquand or something.
Okay.
So Red Skull came back, but Hugo Weaving didn't.
So he was pretty good though.
Able to tell.
Yeah, I didn't know until I think Michael or Nick.
Oh yeah, what if it was Dr. Doom? Could you guys have seen that too? Because I mean, he's cloaked.
I probably
would be more confused than anything.
You're like, what the hell is that?
It's Dr. Doom from the Fantastic movies. It's like,
it's like trash bag Doom.
I've been stuck here for 3 years.
But so kind of we've been going a little all over the place. I want to focus this on like pro cons. Let's start with cons. I did have an issue about the first 30 to 50 minutes of it. The humor was way too much for after the beginning of the film because I love the opener. Also, I think a lot of people are going to be mad that Thor Ragnarok is basically a pointless film. But as soon as that happened, I questioned. I'm like, okay, where is Valkyrie? And once they make it there, immediately like the jokes start coming back. I'm like, don't do that. This is a legitimate thing.
Yeah, is Valkyrie dead now, or
yeah, she and Korg. I think I'm pretty sure.
I don't know if they're necessarily dead because he said what Thor says later in the movie is, which is confusing based on the situation, is he said that half of Asgard is dead now. I'm like, so did half of them survive and are still floating in the starfield there?
Yeah. Like Tessa Thompson went on Twitter and she's like, she's at the bar. I'm like, the book. Sure, okay.
They can't kill off Valkyrie. They just introduced her though.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm sure she signed some sort of extensive contract.
Yeah, she's definitely going to be back. They're going to find some way to explain where she and Korg went.
But the jokes in the beginning, once they get to like the Sanctum Sanctorum, really took me out because I'm like, it didn't do a good job at trying to offset the tone at the beginning. Once we watch like two pretty decently beloved characters get killed off, and it's just like it was like broke up, like the Beatles. I'm like, shut up.
Honestly, I was fine with the stuff on Earth. What really got me was, honestly, a lot of fans are going to be upset at me for this. The Guardians feel so out of place here, except Gamora.
Yeah.
Rocket was fine. Groot was fine. Star-Lord, Mantis, and Drax are so out of place.
I mean, I personally thought Mantis was like one of the funniest characters in the movie.
Mantis had her moments, but just like as a collective whole, like those three were so at odds with what was going on.
Yeah, it was almost like they were there because they had to be. I mean, if we're talking about stripping this story down to basically all it needs to run efficiently. Yeah. I mean, you cut out everybody but Gamora and maybe Star-Lord because he has
I would have been fine if Drax from the first Guardians movie was there, but this was Drax from Guardians 2.
Yeah.
Because he sees Thanos, he'd almost becomes Drax from Guardians 1, and then Mantis knocks him out to initiate that scene without him.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I guess let's see. Let's start with Tim. We'll just go back. Tim, what were some of your any other issues you might have had? Was it just the Guardians? Was there anything else?
The Guardians were probably my biggest thing. I'm happy they were in the movie, but the way that they were written didn't work for how the movie was flowing. Outside of that, like the only other problem I had was I just wanted them to establish more of the connection between Gamora and Thanos.
Okay. See, is Luke still here, or did he dip?
I think
he's muted. He's muted.
Okay. CJ, what about you?
So my thing is, I feel like, again, it's kind of a double-edged sword here because you want to cross over all these characters. You kind of have to because it's Infinity War. It's supposed to bring the universe together. But again, it's kind of one of those things where, and I said it in my review, I like this movie for absolutely the most part. I would say probably 90 to 95% of this movie was amazing. I think the big issue for me is especially in the beginning, the pacing is a little wonky. It's not until we get to the end and everyone starts converging that this movie really starts ticking. Yeah. I feel like the big issue is it's like we have one storyline, we're going like one step forward, and we're going to stick with this second storyline for another 30 minutes. And then we're going to this third storyline for another 30 minutes. And hey, we're back to the first storyline, an hour later. So it was hard to kind of keep track of where everything was. Personally, the jokes weren't an issue for me. And I think most of it was just because at this point, it's the MCU. It's been around for 10 years. That's what it's going to be. I mean, there's going to be the quips, the one-liners.
The Squidward.
And I think Squidward was
that was a solid quip.
It was like solid. I think it was just like.
Well, to me, I think that for me, and in this movie in particular, I think it was better handled than previous movies like Civil War. Obviously, Thor Ragnarok was a straight comedy, and I really enjoyed that. But it's one of those things where I feel like at this point in the universe, you've kind of got to have like I don't want to say an appreciation for that, but it's like if you're still complaining about it. I mean, it's obviously not going to change.
For me. It was just like the first, I want to say like 30 minutes because they were really rapid fire with it. And I'm like, you can't make everybody Tony Stark in terms of like characterization.
Well, one thing I liked with that was they kind of did that as a way of acknowledging that Doctor Strange and Tony Stark are the exact same character, which is why they butt heads so much.
That one I don't mind.
Yeah, that's why I didn't mind the quips at the beginning between those two because that was a pretty solid like connection between the two and showing how similar they were. Like it was when like Thor runs into the Guardians. Once that scene happens, like Thor starts quipping after all the bad things happen to him. Star-Lord's acting like an idiot, and then Gamora's like trying to keep things on track.
I'm not as mad about Star-Lord acting like an idiot because I think Star-Lord, when you consider his background, Star-Lord's kind of stupid, and it's just
but not this stupid. Like he knows Missouri's on Earth.
Yes, he should. It's but I agree that it's some of the jokes, especially from Thor, kind of seemed a little out of place, just because it was a harsh cut, like you said. Yeah. But I think we did have a long period of time. It was probably like 30 minutes of running time between Thor's death and them finding Thor in the field, because we have that whole sequence on Earth with the fight in New York between Ebony Maw and half of the Avengers. But so Thor was probably my favorite character in the movie, next to
mine too, actually. But Nick, what were your kind of cons or issues that you had with the movie?
Everything. That was the worst movie I've ever seen in my history of cinema going.
Talk about it, man.
No, I gotta get past it. Gotta stop thinking about it like BVS.
Oh,
okay. I guess we'll...
No, I don't know. It's just like it's weird because I even was like talking to somebody. Wasn't I saying like I felt like it needed to be longer, but at the same time I already felt like it was over long. Like, so I don't know. Like,
I didn't get that feeling with it. Honestly, this movie's a bridge movie. Like, it's meant to bring everything together, set up the situation, and then Avengers 4 will be, like, probably the movie most people wanted this if they don't like this one.
And plus, Avengers 4, like, just judging about what we know, I feel like it'll be, like, more strong in terms of, like, character, because there'll be, like, less to focus on.
That's a big thing. They kind of...
and now they've got 50%
of these characters to worry about.
More on Hawkeye.
Yes.
Yeah, because he was not in this movie at all.
I love how they literally in one line they just like dispel everything about. It's like, well, where's Scott and Clinton's like, oh, you know, they're taking care of.
They took a deal so that their families wouldn't get targeted.
Like,
and that makes sense.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, sure, why not?
It's like, yeah, that's realistic.
And now Clint can come in and shoot Thanos in the head with an arrow and solve everything.
Yes, exactly.
Aim for the head. It's what Thanos said.
I always aim for the head.
But let's
Dark Tower,
because compared to the relative minor cons, I might have had a couple issues with the effects, and like I looked at Tony and Peter's necks a lot while I was watching the movie.
For the CG. Banners in the Hulkbuster was kind of, it seemed to me to be the most rushed.
Yeah, when he had his little turtle head poking out of it.
Turtle head.
Yeah, but for the most part, the effects were like pretty good. But let's go over to like positive.
There was one hilarious shot in the movie. Speaking of Tony, when he's talking to Doctor Strange about like how Thanos has been like the big boogeyman for him for the last 6 years. Like, you can clearly tell that shot has been digitally edited because they just rose Robert Downey Jr. higher in the so he got this, he looks so fucking tiny compared to giant Benedict Cumberbatch, but they're at eye level.
Have you seen the picture of that when they're standing in the street and they're the same height, but his legs are like disturbingly long?
Like, it's so funny how they're trying to make him as tall as Benedict Cumberbatch. But that one shot, like all this drama in this scene, I'm just focusing on how tiny he looks compared to Benedict Cumberbatch in the shot, and they're at eye level. Yeah, it looks like he's standing on a fucking box.
Because Robert Downey Jr. is not that tall. He
isn't. He wears risers in a bunch of shots. Like, if you look at, I pointed this out to Will in Iron Man 1 in the scene where Rhodey's talking to the recruits and he goes to talk to him. Tony's just wearing like those massive boots, and those are supposed to give him the height.
RDJ is a couple inches taller than me. Like,
that's like that Fast and Furious where like the Rock and Vin Diesel are at eye level.
It's like that. But, so positives coming out of the movie. I liked a lot of this movie.
Yeah, I know. This movie had a lot of good stuff. I'm sounding negative on it. I honestly really like this movie.
That's because I was talking about, that's why I want to get the cons out first.
Yeah.
We can like talk about the stuff that we liked. And I really liked a lot of I have to see it again, really, to kind of process it.
Yeah. Like 5 more times.
Maybe. One of the things that made the experience, aside from being in a packed IMAX theater, was there is a black guy back and to the left, do-rag and tank top. Like,
oh god,
most authentic stereotype.
I know where this is going.
And he was just like, there was a white guy sitting between us, and there was a moment where both me and the other black guy, the black gentleman behind us, went "oh shit" in stereo. And I forget what it was, but I was just like, "oh shit, oh shit." I'm like, just have a moment. And when Nick Fury showed up in the post-credit scene, all I hear, the theater's silent, the lights are up, and I just hear from the back, "Where this motherfucker been all movie?" And we're all like, "That's a good question, black gentleman. Where has this motherfucker been all movie?"
Oh man, I saw it in like this. It was kind of a fancier, like they call it Cinebistro. It's like you can eat, before the movie, and it was great. It was a great experience. And it was a smaller theater, so there weren't as many people, less seats, still completely packed. Woman next to me was giggling the entire movie. Immediately went silent at the end, but the Red Skull thing, I literally went, "Oh shit," like out loud, like not intending to, to say anything. And she just kind of turned, and I was like, "What? I've had to put up with you laughing at every single quip this entire film. Give me my moment. Let me enjoy." But
the movie gave me a lot of like. It was one of the few times in life I've been in a movie where I was pretty vocal, but so were a lot of other people. But it was never at like a moment where like dialogue was happening. Yeah. It would be something happened, like for one of them was when Tony got stabbed, and I legitimately thought he was dying. I'm like, oh, I'm like, oh fuck, and I'm like, oops, oh well,
yeah,
Roger, kids, that's your fault. These things happen.
I guess a side thing like to this is I thought Eitri was really good for the small amount he had.
Yeah, I enjoyed
Peter Dinklage showing up, giant Peter Dinklage
redeeming himself from Days of Future Past.
Yeah.
I liked him in Days of Future Past.
I mean, he didn't really have much to do as Bolivar Trask. He just kind of had.
That was my issue with it, was that he was so underused. He was just there to be evil businessman.
Yeah.
He was here to create a combination of Stormbreaker and the Ultimate Mjolnir.
Yeah, a lot of people didn't know about the Stormbreaker thing. So, like, when we dropped the video, they're like, Stormbreaker is Beta Ray Bill's hammer. It's like, yeah, but Yarnborn isn't in the movie. It's called Stormbreaker in the movie.
Yeah, they call it Stormbreaker.
Because Mjolnir is gone now.
Dude, Thor finally had his true power in this.
I know. I was so happy.
Thor was like super strong at the end, and he just throws the hammer through the Infinity Stone stream.
For all the talk about like Thor being too comedic in Ragnarok, the two best things that have happened to him in the MCU so far are Ragnarok and Infinity War, because they made him.
They made him so much stronger.
They made him the god of thunder that we've been waiting to see for like.
Oh man.
Oh, Luke, you were out before. Do you want to go over your cons for the movie?
Oh yeah.
My cons,
issues.
I get a little frustrated when it comes to big CGI battles, and I feel like the one in Wakanda was to me. When it came to, like, you know, zooming in on certain characters fighting, that was cool. I just feel like I'm kind of getting a little bored with it. I really hope that they don't do that at all in Avengers 4. Because I'm just getting a little strained, you know, because it's like we got that in Avengers 1 with the Chitauri, and then we got it with the Ultron bots and Age of Ultron, and then we got it with the Outriders in Infinity War. And I just, you know, to do that in all three movies, it's like, okay, you guys are like following very specific beats every film, and, you know, as much as this film stuck out, I think that was one of the big ones for me. You know, Hulk being nerfed. I didn't particularly enjoy that a whole lot. The Black Order was completely underused. No Supergiant. She doesn't get any love.
They combined her with Ebony Maw, basically.
No love for the Supergiant.
I know that this is going to sound also kind of weird too, but I love Peter Dinklage, but I feel like his role was a little I don't know. His acting seemed off to me in that role.
I honestly,
I'm gonna see it again, and I want to kind of reanalyze those scenes with Peter Dinklage, but to me, it just I don't know. I could tell that he was acting. You know what I mean?
Okay.
And he's so good in Game of Thrones, and honestly, he was really good for the role that he had in Days of Future Past. But
it didn't feel like as organic.
No, I just felt like, wow, you are reading off of a script here. You know,
they may have had a limited time with them.
Yeah, I feel like that might
be it.
Yeah,
because it's a densely packed movie. They pulled off a for the most part, I would say they pulled off a seemingly near impossible feat with like the number of people that they had. It really is a very Thanos. I'm sorry, Luke. Were there any other like issues that you might have had with the movie? Or go back
some of the jokes I feel like were a little heavy-handed where there shouldn't have been jokes. You know. Some of the comedy, you know, some of the quips, they worked really, really well in the places that they did. And then there was a few others that I'm just like, wow, you're telling a joke now? You know, the best joke I feel like in the whole movie was the Drax bit, you know, where he was just standing there eating those nuts.
Oh,
yeah. And that was probably, I think, the joke I enjoyed the most. But yeah, just some of the jokes felt really out of place. And it's like, also, too, did you guys notice that whenever Peter called Thanos Grimace, nobody got it? At least nobody in my theater got that.
Nobody got the Grimace joke, really?
Yeah, I got Grimace.
I was the only one in the theater that laughed.
Like,
nobody understood that,
and
like at all.
Like the thing was, when I did have issues with some of the jokes at the beginning, but like when the jokes hit. They hit like really good. That's what I'll give the movie credit for. When the silent moments or the serious moments happen and they're good, I think they're really good. And when the jokes land, they land really well. My thing is like if they fall, they fall hard.
And that's kind of my thing about why I loved the end of the movie so much, is because like when shit is hitting the fan, the jokes are completely gone.
Yeah,
it's like 30 minutes.
Well, they got rid of all the Guardians. There were no one left to make jokes.
There's no one to quit. No one to quit.
Are dead. Peter's dead. Side note: Peter's death. Like people, children were traumatized in this theater. Definitely with the death of Teen Groot. But when Peter died, that was the one that got me because it's like, Mr. Stark, I don't feel so good. I'm like,
well, that one was the most overplayed of them. Yeah.
I was like
oh, that was the one where they just like, I don't want to go. I don't want to go.
Yeah, that was the Doctor Who moment. I like had a flashback to Tenet. It's just like, I don't want to go, Mr. Stark. I'm like, don't do this, Tom. Don't do this to me.
Dude, why did they pull Doctor Who with that?
I feel like it worked. I mean, it's he's a kid. Yeah. He's in over his head, and it ultimately kind of proves what Tony was saying, right?
Yeah.
I think.
Like he would have been wiped out regardless if he came there or not.
When Star-Lord started turning to dust, I was like, "Bye, bitch."
Another thing,
it's like, "Oh shit, what's going on?"
I gotta go soon too. But the last thing I think I was gonna mention, going back to that Peter Dinklage scene, I get it that Marvel has kind of pushed the at least when it comes to the Asgardian stuff, they've kind of gotten used to the idea of like, okay, it's not really like necessarily another magical realm. And then it was, and then I guess now it's just like, oh, it's another planet. Like, I get that, but what also bothered me too is that I truly thought that Thor, Rocket, and Groot were actually going to go to Alfheim, where the elves and dwarves live, and I halfway expected to see that within itself, because it was just another region in space somewhere, and it's like, oh, okay, I guess just dwarves are just aliens, and they're supposed to be from another realm, somewhere in the world tree, Alfheim, right? One of the 9 realms of the world. And they didn't do that. They didn't show like the fantasy elements, which still to this day they have not shown at all, almost like to any degree. And like the closest thing that we had gotten was seeing the Jotuns, the frost giants. That is the closest that we've actually gotten to not only comic lore but traditional Norse mythology. And so like I was like, oh, okay, awesome. King Eitri is going to be in this. Like he's king of the dwarves. He helped forge Mjolnir. I really thought that they were going to go into that mythical lore farther. And it's like, oh, it's just a giant Peter Dinklage in space somewhere. I don't know. I was really let down by that because I truly thought that they were going to go to Alfheim.
Do you want to give us some of the things you did like about the movie before you head out?
Yeah.
Pretty much everything else.
What do you like? The rest?
Yeah.
The pacing actually, it's really hard. It had to have been really hard to pull a film like that off. The pace, it was just nonstop. It just go. It was almost like it almost had like a Star Wars beat to it, right? Where it just transitioned from scene to scene to scene to scene, all the way up into the climax, and it felt very Star Warsy. And that's what I like the most about it. I think really is the pacing.
That was one thing I was gonna say. The pacing is pretty solid in the movie. Like I can get it can feel long because it is a long movie, but with like all the different things they're focusing on, and they're still actually able to like have like strong emotional moments and quiet scenes in the middle of all of this. Like that was an accomplishment to pull off all the stuff they had to put into it.
Yeah, filming this must have back to back between this and Untitled Avengers movie, Kevin Feige refers to it, must have been just like hellish. And also trying to keep all of this under wraps must have been like crazy difficult. You know how they basically like almost locked Tom Holland in a box.
They had to.
Anything.
So imagine if I just want to going back to what we were talking about before, like the people getting like wiped out. Like, what do you think of like after its massive success, that Black Panther was one of the ones who got erased?
That was the biggest surprise to me. I saw every other one coming, but that that was
because I thought Okoye was gonna get wiped out, and it's like
nope, she stayed.
Showing us these two.
I was like, oh, they did that.
So M'Baku gets to be king now.
M'Baku is now the king. Hey, I'd be fine with that. I love M'Baku.
Killmonger died for nothing.
The throne is now the Jabaris.
Yeah, Black Panther's died in both the films he's been in, or like 2 of 3.
Yeah, he did die in Black Panther 2 for a little bit.
You're not going to come back in Avengers 4.
Why does he suck so much in the MCU?
I'll try to stick around as long as possible after Avengers 4. It does kind of like, the only thing that sucks is since we focus on this so much as just like a company, then just wait, and they've already announced it. It does kind of weaken the film a little bit because your immediate next thought after certain characters dies, all right, so how are they coming back? Because Spider-Man 2 started filming this summer. Black Panther 2 was confirmed. Like, I'm like, so
to their credit, to their credit, what they've done, they haven't officially announced anything since 2014 when they announced the Phase 3 slate. We just know, obviously, that Sony is going to make more Spider-Man movies, and like we've learned the production details because that film begins filming I think this summer sometime. Guardians 3 was confirmed by Gunn.
Yeah, so we but Doctor Strange, Black Panther. Black Panther's definitely coming back because his movie is the highest grossing one, but
yeah, he'll be back.
All right, real quick for Groot in the chat. Other than Spider-Man, yes, your death made me the saddest. Your death arguably is like 1A, 1B with Spider-Man for me. But
I was a little shocked that Spider-Man died. Actually,
me too.
Yeah, probably dying in his arm. That one was heavy.
I was honestly surprised that all of the big three stayed. I thought that at least Cap would be erased, but. Nope, Thor, Captain America, and Iron Man, all good.
I thought Cap and Tony were both gone when because when Thanos punches Steve and he hits the ground, I'm like, well, he's dead. And when he stabbed Tony, I'm like, he's dead too. Oh shit! That would have been way crazy if they killed the both of them.
No, but they're still going to be in Avengers 4. I was expecting them to be brought back in Avengers 4. I thought they would be taken out in this one, but.
Yeah,
all three survived. I was surprised.
Yeah, I was too. I'm like, that would have been a massive middle finger to everybody. Just like, oh yeah, you thought you had prediction.
They kind of defaulted back to Iron Man 2 in terms of cast.
Yeah, the deaths were really surprising. The way they handled the snap, actually, was very interesting.
Yeah,
because I think all of us expected them to go straight, beat for beat from the comic, hold it up in the night sky, snap. No. He did this shit with an axe in his chest. He's like, should have gone for the throat. Gotcha.
That was just a straight up scripting film twist, basically, because they want you to think, even though if you're a fan of this stuff and Avengers 4 is coming, to a casual viewer, that was all for them. That's you think that Thor has actually just done it. He, his quest was fulfilled. He's done it. He's stopped it. And then Thanos is like, nope. And that was just. It happened in a moment. I let myself believe.
And then what have you done?
Dude, doesn't the post-credit scene is kind of weird though, because doesn't it make a plot hole where Captain Marvel, why didn't he ever call her before?
Yeah, that's it. I mentioned that when I was going over the post-credit scene in that video. I guess I'm gonna assume Captain Marvel was going to explain why he didn't contact her to get the Avengers initially.
Yeah. When Ultron was wrecking shit, or Thanos at his alien invasion. Yeah, people complain about not complain, they bring the facts well, where was Wakanda in the first Avengers? I'm like, did you forget the part where they're xenophobes, so they didn't care?
Yeah.
They really, really didn't care unless it hits that border. Then they start.
Captain Marvels don't give a fuck about no one.
Yeah, it's did you know
don't bother me. Don't bother me unless
not,
half the universe is wiped out.
Yeah, unless the universe is about to be wiped out, they did not care about you, black people, white people, Asian didn't matter. Anyone beyond that border did not matter. So that's why they weren't there, because they don't care.
Do you guys have a score for this film at all? I personally give it a 8.5 out of 10.
That's around where I would give it.
I'm sitting at a 9. I mean, we don't score the movies anymore because, for our reviews, if you guys are wondering, we just kind of do a recommend and varying degrees of that. But it sits about a 9 for me. I mean, as a fan, I should clarify, I graded it very highly.
Yeah, as a fan, it's sitting at a 9 for me. There is a weakness that Nick brought it up when I think we were talking at some point. It's a good point. This film is very, very difficult for it to stand on its own.
Yeah, this film's not meant to stand on its own. It doesn't stand on its own. You need to have the backstory of all the characters, or else it doesn't have as much impact.
Real quick, too.
Film in a franchise and pulling off what they did is a feat in itself, but it doesn't stand on its own, which is fine by me.
It's not supposed to.
But that's a fair argument.
I don't care about all that comic shit. Is the movie good or not?
So, Luke,
was this a fake out from the Russos? Remember, during the original trailer, the first one, we got to see that sort of lineup of characters running towards the camera, and we see the Hulk back there. But that scene wasn't in the film. Was that a fake out, or or is that a deleted scene?
It was likely a fake out. But they may have honestly done two versions of it, one where the Hulk comes out and one where he doesn't, because there's more than one scene of the Hulk being in the movie.
Yeah, It's really weird.
It honestly may have just been a fake out so that like people would, or they might have just been required to have the Hulk appear in the trailer because people wanted to see the Hulk, and he only is in one scene of the movie.
Yeah. It's funny if you go back and think about the trailers and you look at the posters. I'm like, they kind of gave us the clue that Loki isn't showing up anymore because he's in no other part of the trailer beyond that one scene on the ship. And if you look at the character posters, Loki doesn't have one.
Yeah.
Okoye and Shuri have posters. Wong has a poster. Loki doesn't have shit.
Yeah.
Wait, so was this better than Justice League and BVS, or was this?
Oh man.
Yeah.
That's a low bar though.
Low.
If the bar is at the floor, all you have to do, you don't even have to trip.
Yeah, I was
Just
telling
don't
Michael,
slide your feet on the floor and you're good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was telling Michael this felt like the BVS theatrical cut where there's like clearly like 30 minutes like cut out or something.
I mean, I definitely feel like it could have used a little bit more time, but again, I'm of the same opinion that I'm not sure how they would have used it, to be honest. It's like without making other storylines feel, because like I said, it's a weird balance. It all kind of works, but at the same time, you're jumping from storyline to storyline. I'm not sure if more time would have helped. I think that's my biggest thing.
I honestly like the only thing like I wish there was more of outside of like Gamora's scene is I wish there was more with Steve and his group because they just show up and
he was kind of there.
They're just kind of there for shop talk outside of Black Widow, who has a rivalry with Proxima Midnight.
I was just waiting for Captain America to do the thing where it's like, it's good to see you, Cap, and he just like slowly like pulls a cigarette like to his mouth, takes a drag, and takes it out of his mouth, and he goes, "The name I haven't heard in a long time." But they didn't do that. They resisted the urge.
I thought you were going in a different direction with that. No. I thought you were going to figure it out. Kept you waiting, huh?
Shut the fuck up.
Rogers. All right, hey guys, I got to get going. It was great talking to you all. Everyone watching, everyone that will watch this, let us know down in the comments what your thoughts are on the film and what you would rate it.
Where can people find you at before you go?
You guys can find me on Twitter at QuantumXParadox.
All right.
Peace out, y'all.
Whoa, later.
Bye.
See you.
So
I wish we could just like leave him in as a freeze frame, just going like
freeze frame.
Somebody brought up, I think, the most important question that Infinity War did not answer: is Captain America still a virgin? No.
99-year-old virgin, back at it again.
No, I'm pretty sure him and Sam did the deed.
Oh yeah, him and Sam while they were away.
Apparently, Sam and Rhodey were like really close, and I never realized that. But this movie confirms that.
Okay.
No. We're like brothers, but closer. It's like brothers is a strong.
Rhodey like basically only talks to Sam for the entire climax of the movie, and he's like all sad and like Sam's not answering. Like, Sam, where are you? Like, when did this happen?
I didn't realize that Rhodey had trolled Bruce because I didn't get to fully hear what he had said when they stepped out the plane in Wakanda. He's like, "Do I need to bow?" He's like, "Yeah, of course." And he gets her like, "Oh no, we don't do that here." It's like
Rhodey's like, "The fuck are you doing, man?
What are you doing?
Like, what are you doing?" He's
that
like,
was all right. Real quick,
he had some good moments in this movie.
Oh yeah. Do you guys want to move to questions?
Yeah, sure.
All right, but real quick. Reed by Nature notes that Cap and Iron Man don't actually even talk to each other. They never meet. And I think that it kind of sets up, because they had talked so much about how this film is like directly kind of influenced by Civil War. And we see that in the fact that Iron Man doesn't want to call Captain America. They're in two different places when it begins. I think that's going to be more apparent in Avengers 4 as they kind of have to come back together and team up. So that's what I want to see.
Avengers 4 reassembled.
He was like Samwise Gamgee.
Yeah. Like, and Avengers 4 is like, it's gonna have that big cathartic moment where the two come together. If they're gonna say Avengers Assemble, they're gonna like do a team attack on Thanos. Like, that's what I expect.
It'll be like Persona 5 where they all jump in the air and hit him at the same time.
Oh, yeah, but Cap has that shitty Avengers 1 suit though again.
Yeah, I mean, so does 4. And he has the golden lock, so that's
yeah. Apparently, a lot more time passes between these two movies than we think. If Thor's hair grew back.
I really wish they kept the scene where Thor recharges though in the trailer, where he has like puts the hammer up and then cape flowing and everything.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I did love the scene though with when they let the Outriders in and you see the army advancing forward, and then Steve and T'Challa take off.
T'Challa just sprinting.
You just see, and they start working together.
I was really hoping they'd get like an anime dust cloud behind them if they did that.
Like when I saw that, I'm like, that's the scene that will end racism right there.
Speaking of the Lord of the Rings references, I was really hoping that we were going to get like somebody doing the Gimli and Legolas count. It's like, how many have you taken down? It's like,
don't
19.
worry, Hulk and Hawkeye will do it in the next movie.
They better.
When Thor comes down, and they have that moment in the magazine that I talked about. It's like, oh, your hair.
Yeah.
Yeah. You grow a beard like mine.
I see you copied my beard. So questions, guys. Questions.
Since I have Captain Panther did have
Korg and Meek update. Yeah, both dead probably. But Meek actually got stepped on again for real this time. But Meek was the favorite.
I like Meek more than I did Korg, but I like Korg. He's funny.
Oh, I love it. I mean, Korg was basically just a rugged Taika Waititi.
Korg wouldn't have fit into this movie. He would have had the Guardians issue.
Yeah.
Just imagine Thanos blowing Korg to a pile of pebbles.
I mean, there was a great joke opportunity that they missed by not having Korg and putting him in the same room with Groot for somebody to go. It's like, okay, where's scissors? But he goes, Meek's dead. But
that's a good point.
All right. Do you think Annihilation will be after Infinity War? That's a good question. I don't think they quite have the pieces in place to do that yet, but maybe in Phase 4.
No. Annihilation might be like Phase... Yeah, I'm going to say Phase 5. You have to set up Nova first.
All right, let's see. What will the Avengers 4 title be? That's a good question.
I'm guessing Reassembled.
It's either going to be Reassembled or New Avengers.
Or New Avengers Imperative or some shit like that.
Yeah. I mean,
from some comic title.
They did Infinity War. I don't want to just say it'll be Infinity Gauntlet. Because somebody pointed out, and people have been pointing out in the chat, this is basically like, and I've had conversations with people that basically this movie is just the half of Infinity Gauntlet. It's not even really half. It's like he gets the shit and then he snaps his fingers. It's like now we're in the post snaps his fingers universe. But yeah. I'm gonna put my money on Infinity Gauntlet. But
do y'all think?
Well, what do you think is because they said that the title would spoil the next movie. So what do you think that they could have in the title that would spoil how this movie ended?
Avengers 4. Fuck, everyone's dead.
Avengers 4. Damn, half the Avengers are dead. Oh my god.
Avengers 4. Oh shit.
Oh god. All right.
Avengers 4. Oh no, Thanos won.
Do you guys think Thanos will now be considered one of the best comic book movie villains? I already do. That was, I mean, it was mostly because he was invented more than a lot of them are. But
I understood him a lot more than a lot that we've had in the past.
One of my favorites, at least.
Oh, Nick, what are you saying? Go ahead.
No, he's CG. He can't be good.
He can't be good. He's just a pile of pixels.
Rick Harrison.
Better than Stephen Wolf.
Do you guys think Avengers 4 will have a time skip, then do time travel? I actually kind of was thinking that they're going to pick up like maybe a year or so after Thanos snapped his fingers, just to see what happens. But
dude, that plot leak says it takes place 5 years after Avengers.
I'd be down for that.
Isn't Ant-Man and the Wasp Avengers 3?
Ant-Man and the Wasp is directly after Civil War.
Civil War.
So I guess we'll get to see when he makes that deal.
Yeah, a whole different war.
Mm-hmm. Now the trailer makes sense.
How did Thanos know who Stark was? I think the Soul Stone told him.
Yeah, because they said it was like wisdom or something like that.
Yeah, it's like you're not the only one who's burdened with knowledge.
Well, I feel like it could also just be word of mouth, because if one dude literally nukes part of your army, you're gonna be like, "Hey, who did that?"
It was that man of iron.
And Loki's like, "It was him, the man in the metal can,
the Tin Man." Is Galactus coming after Thanos? I don't know. Depends on when the rights deal clears.
I hope Doom comes after.
What is Doom? Well, Doom could do some shit. But who do you think will be the big villain after Avengers 4? That's good. I think Doctor Doom is probably going to be set up very quickly. I could see the Sinister Six or, the Masters of Evil potentially.
I hope they stay away from universe level threats. And
Shi'ar, if they want to go X-Men villains, Shi'ar. I mean, it looks like they're moving into the cosmic side. So especially because Eternals is in, they're having discussions about Eternals. Fantastic Four are very cosmic.
We have the Infinity Stone, so let's go to the Shi'ar and get the M'Kron Crystal. Instead of having one that controls the universe, have one that brings you to the fucking multiverse.
Time to cross over with guys. Time to cross over with TV shows.
Avengers 4: The Revelation. Avengers 4: The Remix to Ignition.
Fresh out of the kitchen.
What was your favorite Infinity Stone in the movie? I'm always a huge fan of Time.
Time was cool, but it was underutilized. Reality did some cool stuff.
This person using their entire botnet to remind us that Zoe Saldana called the next movie Gauntlet. Yes, she did, and if she was not incorrect, I'm fine with that. Maybe I was just, I wasn't thinking about it, but I'm down with it.
I mean, it's just a noun. It's like, that thing that he has. That's
Gauntlet. What's that?
Avengers 4.
Now we're gonna the inevitable, the inevitable question by Star-Lord going, what's a gauntlet?
Avengers Origins Wolverine.
Yeah, Avengers.
Dude, remember when the X-Men Apocalypse Facebook account posted a trailer and it said bigger than a civil war? I'm like, really?
Oh, God.
No.
Really?
I wish.
Because your box office didn't show that.
Avengers
so much better
past.
It's so much better than Civil War. Our entire final battle involved one guy standing still doing nothing.
As he got blown to smithereens by 3 people that shouldn't have been able to do that.
Yeah, could Red Skull come back? I mean, maybe.
Which Nova should be in the MCU first? I say Richard Rider always.
Richard Rider, definitely. They might skew Sam just so they could do the ethnicity, but Richard is the one who has the strongest story.
Do you think Captain Marvel will hold her own against Thanos since Thor got a sneak attack with his axe? I think she will, because they've already said she's the most powerful person in the MCU.
Way to go, Sparkle Fists.
Yeah, she made it. It's like she'll get some licks in. I don't know if they're gonna have her be stronger than Thor necessarily now that he has the hammer.
Yeah, I think a lot of the audience was surprised if they didn't know in advance that Thanos was stronger than Hulk. So when Hulk got a couple punches and then Thanos rocked his shit like Floyd Mayweather, they were a little saber like, wait, but that's the Hulk. He's supposed to stop the bad man.
What was so great about that to me was that it not only was so the Hulk, when the Hulk fights, he's usually just big and strong. He's not super fast. Thanos, being about the same size, was literally Floyd Mayweathering the shit out of him and just
you saw him flow, he bobbed and then went for the side.
It was dude. It was fucking. I was like, God damn, okay. And then it was hitting with
I
combos
really like that
shit.
scene. I do kind of hope that when the Hulk comes back in Avengers 4, that he's gonna get a rematch where he can get some licks in better.
Yeah,
I just want Hulk to yell, "Hulk is strongest there is."
Well, yeah, it's like Eddie Griffin said. You always think you're Billy Badass till you meet Billy Badass.
Yeah.
Nightbreaker Jr. asks, which death was the worst to you? I would probably go Spider-Man or Groot. I mean, those both, Groot was the one that hit me hard. I was like, he's just a child, but I mean, you could say the same thing about Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Well, Groot's he rebooted himself, so he's been sort of around. He just.
I mean, my thing is why are you picking on Groot like that? He didn't do anything in this movie.
Mine was probably Loki, just because of how it was done.
Oh man, that was savage.
The god of tiny knives did not get to show off what he can do.
Oh man.
Wrote it directly at the audience, there's no coming back this time.
Read by nature.
I was feeling him as I destroyed him.
Read by nature. Could Red Skull reappear post-Infinity War, or has his character run its course? I think this does open the door for him potentially returning, especially if Vormir was actually Soul World, like a lot of people are speculating, but I don't know. I think he's probably done, if I had to bet.
Yeah, I think he's done, because there's been since the 40s just being this guy to this power he can't have. I think he's just kind of broken inside. There's not much he's going to do.
They answered the question that was set up by the first Avenger of where exactly is Red Skull going. And now, I honestly wondered, it's were Christopher Marcus and Stephen McFeely planning that the entire time? Because they wrote all 3 Captain America movies, and they wrote these 2 movies. So I'm kind of curious to see if that was the plan all along.
Apparently, Red Skull was supposed to be in Avengers originally till Joss Whedon rewrote the script and just made it Loki, because it was going to be Red Skull and Loki originally.
That's interesting. The Illuminati. Oh, no, we already answered that. Novia Blachia. Do you sympathize with Thanos? honestly, yes, to a degree.
Yeah,
I think he's rooted in a real problem, which is a big thing for him.
He has a fair point, but the way he goes about it's a tad extreme.
Yeah, he's still an honorable guy. I think it is a big question, resources. I mean, I've compared him a lot, and I haven't seen a lot of people making this comparison. It's like a hunter and a herd of deer. The reason why hunters are still necessary is because unchecked, the population of deer or other certain animals grows out of control, and then it has an effect on the ecosystem. And you hunt deer. We allow the hunting of animals like this to keep the population under control and keep the ecosystem in balance. That's exactly what Thanos is doing.
Yeah.
The only I wish they could have kind of elaborated on this, because this was a thing that I thought while I was in theaters, like, oh, well, why don't you just make more resources for people? And then I'm like, oh, the bitch is crazy. He's the Mad Titan. That's the point. Haha.
But he's not the Mad Titan in the MCU.
They called him a madman.
He's the fairly reasonable Titan.
The unreasonable Titan.
Oh man, you think the cosmic entities will be in Avengers 4? Jar Jar Jarrell.
I hope so.
Maybe, to borrow an old Lurkel line.
Because I know we did a video way back where we talk about like death, eternity, infinity, and the other one, whose name Entropy. Yes,
more
Team Entropy.
Yeah, they exist.
Team Entropy, dude, all the way. Do you think Star-Lord should die in Guardians 3? He's already dead, Waru.
He's dead inside.
Dead. Yeah. He deserved it. He was the one person that deserved it.
You know what I think might be an interesting angle to go with Avengers 4, just on a side note? Like, what if they took the handful of villains who aren't dead and have them fight against Thanos? Because I don't think they want to be wiped out.
Yeah, I wonder if Baron Zemo's still alive in that jail cell that he's in.
Hey, what about Abomination? He could come back.
Yeah.
Or what's the other dude? The big green head? Who's that dude? The
leader?
Yeah, that guy.
Yeah. They still have, for all the villains they've killed, they still have some running around. But
well, it's okay. Wilson Fisk will take care of Thanos.
Lion S7, do you think Star-Lord fucked up the defeat of Thanos? C, deserved it. Star-Lord. Deserved it, Star-Lord.
Marvel.
He definitely screwed up the immediate victory against Thanos. I think that Doctor Strange was playing the long game, and he just wanted to, he didn't tell anyone because he wanted the fight to be real between Thanos. Thanos didn't think he was just lowering him into a trap, but this is probably Strange's plan that, okay, I saw the one thing where I win. I have to give Thanos the time stone. But in order to do that, I have to be in a position where he'll actually believe me when I give it to him.
Yeah, the way I interpret it was like, of all the over 14 million options they had, that was the one where they could have at least some of them survive.
Yeah.
Instead of all of them being totally dead.
Yeah.
They're not 100% dead, but they're half dead, which means they're half alive. Yeah.
What was your favorite scene of the movie? The Illuminati asks. Well, who am I to not answer the Illuminati? It's kind of tough. Oh, man.
That's a good question.
Personally, I really enjoyed the Thor scene where he's got to hold the forge open and then Groot gives the arm because I was like, okay, it's Groot now cares. And then as soon as he touches it, it was like, I was like, it's amazing. I feel like if they had added the thing that Nick was saying, if they had kept the little scene in where he raises the hammer and lightning flies everywhere, that would have been like the seal the deal. But
I think it was good that that they didn't keep it in, because then you get the stronger impact of Thor showing up in full costume with the hammer.
They pulled a BVS. Remember in BVS where he reaches out of the sun when he's trying to reach out?
Yep. And they went back to the sleeves for Thor too, but oh man, I would have to say it's between that and then the whole sequence on Vormir, like there's Red Skull showing up and that I just, despite the wonky editing at the end, that was like, I mean, set that shit to sad music and you basically
any scene of Thor on Earth just really, that was
I
was like, yep, this is it. This is worth probably about 10 years, just watching them whip around, slicing down Outriders. And it's kind of interesting to think that I guess this is the metaphor, about it taking a god to kill a Titan. I don't know if that was intentional or not.
That would be cool, though.
Yeah.
My favorite scene was probably Doctor Strange versus Thanos on Titan, because you got to see all the cool shit Doctor Strange can get with all the fucking arms, all the making
The
clones
images
of
of
himself,
Icon,
the bands
the
of
Crimson
Cyrac, all
Bands
the
of
different
Cyrac.
spells. He shoots the mirror dimension at him, and Thanos just shatters it and knocks it back.
Black hole. I was like,
that was an awesome exchange between those two. That made up for Doctor Strange not doing all that cool shit in his own film.
hole at him, Jesus.
Will Kang finally make his debut? Possibly. I don't think in this movie though, because he's still a Fantastic Four rights character. I think.
I keep saying that he's going to be the villain of like the next Avengers series. I don't know why.
Could be, yeah.
Lee Ross, they filmed Avengers Infinity War and Avengers 4 back to back, so Stan Lee would have still been on set.
Yeah. Someone asked, what do you think, will they sexualize Captain Marvel? She is kind of hot.
She's wearing a full body suit, bro.
Yeah, she's wearing her modern comic costume.
Yeah.
No, dude, you can't forget her 90s outfits. She's rocking the Rachel and those Nirvana type outfits.
Oh yeah.
That's what gets the men rock hard these days.
That's one way to put it. Do you guys want to do a few more?
Sure.
Yeah.
All right. This dude is just going on about time travel.
Do you think Shuri can still fix Vision? I think that CPU is beyond repair.
What? Yeah, I personally don't think Vision's coming back. I believe truly deeply that they're going to do a thing where it's just they undo everything. But if they don't, I don't think he's coming back.
Will we see Quicksilver again? Who knows?
I think that we're at the very least going to see Yondu and the Ancient One again.
Probably. Yeah.
Yeah, Yondu's this was one of my issues with Guardians 2. Yondu's death was impactful, but it felt like deep but hollow a little bit because I didn't get to see him enough to bond with him as much as I wanted to.
Yeah. Jurassic Kick 9. I do want Shuri to wear the mantle in Avengers 4.
Yes, that would be really cool. If she's still around, I think that would be great.
And then she looks at the suit, she's just like, next time, baby, and walks off.
Gets recast by Don Cheadle.
He too becomes Don Cheadle.
When you see the Avengers struggling, that's not your problem anymore.
Yeah, they should introduce Sentry and Blue Marvel.
I would love that.
They're kind of the power set wise, they're really kind of similar. I do one or the other.
Do Blue Marvel.
Blue Marvel would be cool, yeah.
Hyperion, so we get
I like Sentry's story a lot of all the mental stuff with him, but Blue Marvel I just think is like a cool guy.
Well, because then you can bring in Anti-Man.
No, because then you could cast Denzel as Blue Marvel.
I would be completely fine with that. It would take half their budget to do it, but it'd be worth it. Just
think we'll see Adam Warlock, yes, in Guardians of the Galaxy
3. They set him up at the end of Guardians 2.
But he is not showing up, and there's a pretty good reason for why they cut him out.
Oh, do you think Feige will announce the name of Avengers 4 during SDCC? So they're not going to be there.
Yeah, they're not going to be at SDCC.
They've already done D23 already in Tokyo, so it's I don't know. I'm really not sure when they're going to announce the title of the movie.
I think they're not going to. They'll probably announce. Well, they're going to announce it sometime. I think around Christmas this year. But they're I don't think they're going to SDCC this year just because they're not going to announce anything till Avengers 4 is out.
Yeah, they're going to drop it at Con. They're going to drop it at some time to kind of undercut some company.
So we got to be at SDCC next year. Then that's going to be the big Phase 4 panel or something.
Yeah.
Why didn't Gamora just slice Thanos' arm off? If she could just slice a sword in his neck, why didn't anyone try to slice his arm off?
No, you have to remember that at the same time, that was just him fucking with her with the Reality Stone. It wouldn't have mattered what she did.
That's true. I think it. Why didn't they try to slice it off? I feel like it's a little tough when he's swinging it around trying to punch you with it.
Also, he's got big, meaty, Hulk-beaten arms.
Yeah, got those Hulk-beaten arms.
All right, let's do one more, guys, because I gotta go.
That's fine. Finish this up. Who's going to be our ending question?
Nick, you pick the question. If you can see the chat, I don't know if you can.
What movies do you want to see in Phase 4? That was the last one I see here.
Fantastic Four, Doctor Strange 2.
That we already haven't had basically confirmed.
Doctor Doom's solo film.
Doctor Doom. Let's keep the Noah Hawley Doctor Doom film happening.
And let's keep the Gambit Channing Tatum.
Keep Gambit alive.
Let's not do that.
Gambit lives.
Anything new wise? I don't know. I'd be interested to see them do like a Denzel-led Blue Marvel movie.
No.
That's what I want for Phase 4.
It would be like Fences, but then they would like do a time skip or something when he'd be like
Fences in space, except none of the aspects of Fences is there. like Black Wife or
I definitely want them to do Nova
and Black Widow. Already.
Yeah, Black Widow. That's apparently confirmed. Black Widow Eternals is going to happen, but for the ones that aren't directly confirmed, like Nova, it's been alluded to, but like
or a Hawkeye film.
I'd go for a Hawkeye film. I would.
I'd be down for a TV show for Hawkeye. I don't know about a whole movie. Like, who's he going to fight? Bullseye?
He can fight against the tracksuit vampires.
Oh, man.
Yeah. He fights the circus that he left as a child.
We need to see MCU horror films like Blade or Man-Thing or something.
I'd be down for that.
I'd be cool for Werewolf by Night.
Reed by Night had a good point, though.
Or Moon Knight
series would be fun. Like for A4, if they said it'd be Dark Reign instead.
Wait, Rampage? What?
What?
Rampage? What?
No, Dark Reign.
Dark Reign. Yeah.
Yeah, Marvel Avengers 4, Rampage.
There's a lot of shit they have to set up for Dark Reign to work.
Yeah.
All right, y'all. Will, you want to play us out?
Yes. So that's been our show. Drop questions for us to read for the next episode, which will be more normal. We'll probably be back to our normal schedule with the hashtag AskMarvelite. Like and subscribe to our channel. Where can the people find you at? We're starting with CJ.
Ooh, at CJ Pascal.
Tim, where can people find you at?
They can find me at Aussie Dragoon.
Nick, where can people find you at?
You guys can tweet me on Twitter at who's_Nick.
And you can find me on my own channel at Will the Greatest. I put up a video about Avengers, I think, at noon.
You need to put up like a solo review though on your channel or something, like a 40-minute like.
It's a sequel to my Justice League video. But yeah, that's been it. We'll see you next week. Have a good one. Peace.
Adios.
Later.